It's really unfair. It's really unfair. It's my team. It's my quarterback. And if you guys do that, man, it's unfair. We lost as a team.
Drives. Oh, what a ball! Holy cow, the defensive gem of the year!
Hey, I love the money, attracted, fucking on the actress. Call me Stone Cold, I got her flipping on the mattress. Took her to see Luca, we first flight out of Dallas. I just put some digits on the scale and made it balance. Love the money, attracted, fucking on the actress. Call me Stone Cold, I got her flipping on the mattress. Took her to see Luca, we first flight out of Dallas. I just put some digits on the scale and made it balance. Hit my line, I'm taxing. I've been off them drugs, back to back, now it's a habit. Posted in the slums with them drums, Lenny Kravitz. Shaq in 92, I hit the
YouTube podcast world. What's up, family? You know the name, Pays and Plays Podcast here. Going to be giving y'all divisional round playoff predictions, picks. Last week, wild card, we got fucking humbled. Didn't win one. And shout out to the trolls. Now y'all want to come around. But this is what I said before the season even started. I said people are going to clown you when you don't win one bet. But when you win 3, 2 out of however many, those motherfuckers is nowhere to be around. So that's part of the game. Shout out to the trollsters. Let's see if y'all come back or have y'all even checked the channel. Check the channel though. But available on all platforms, man. Your Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify. I'm on TikTok for the last week. I'm aware of TikTok might be shut down just when I was getting hot. Follow the Instagram page, Pays and Plays _podcast. You can check out other picks I had. Well, last night we went 2-1 college basketball. Villanova did not win, and that was the one I wanted, but we went 2-1 in college basketball. If you follow my picks, I be having them on the story, so check it out, man, on your leisure. But anyway, let's get right into it. Divisional round. We'll start with the 2 Saturday games. We got the Houston Texans, H-Town, traveling to Kansas City, where that used to be the Dallas Texans, by the way. I know some people don't know that. But the Kansas City Chiefs, 8.5-point favorites. You know the regimen that I'm going, right? Texas to cover, Chiefs to win. 8.5 is too much for me. You know this. Maybe next round we'll take them a little more serious with Kansas City. But listen, this game here, the thing about Houston, I'm going to give their props to. They do got a defense. Now, is it elite defense? Shout out to the homie. I remember another fellow YouTuber. He mentioned there's no such thing as elite defenses this year. I agree. But this secondary is stingy. And when you got to think about Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter and the defensive line, you have to wonder, can they give a push to this Chiefs team? Now, we know Hollywood Brown's back healthy. We know Kelsey's going to be playing. We know Swifty, she's going to be up there in the suite chilling, watching the game. We know all that's going to happen, right? And the thing about this game, I will lean under to this game because trust me, as much as I'm talking about Houston defense, let's talk about Kansas City defense as far as that front seven. You know Chris Jones is going to cause havoc. This offensive line for the Texans just has not been it. I still wonder why Laremy Tunsil has been in the Pro Bowl. I don't understand why. But this interior for the offensive line for the Texans is a problem. And when you have Chris Jones, like I mentioned last couple weeks ago when they played against each other, what did he do? He did the same thing. He caused havoc. And he's able to move from the A and B gap. Sometimes they move to the C gap. So now it's not like he's just dominating one side. He's dominating both sides of the trenches. I know the secondary can get picked on a little bit for Kansas City, but my thoughts is this. If they can limit Nico Collins, I'm not saying that, because that's really their main weapon. If they can limit him, Dalton Schultz kind of has been nowhere, I hate to say it, this year. And with Joe Mixon, if you back in Houston to cover the spread, you have to hope Mixon is like the key opponent. He ended up being the key opponent towards the second half of the last game. That's the reason why the Chargers pretty much lost because Mixon was just toting yards. He needs to do this against Kansas City. I think also as a personal thing with him because, come on now. When he was in Cincinnati, we saw how Kansas City was in that rivalry. I think this does mean something. I will look into his props. Let's look into maybe his rushing props, maybe attempts and yards. I do think Joe Mixon may have a slight day, but it all depends on if his offensive line will block for him or not. Next game, we got the Washington Commanders traveling to Ford Field to take on the Lions. Lions, 9.5 point favorites. With an over a 55.5. I'm gonna add that to that too, right? This one's tough, man. This one's tough. I'm gonna say Lions to win and cover. And my only reason behind it is that I don't think Washington's gonna be able to stop the run. Okay. Now, in the back of my mind, can Jalen Daniels do the impossible? Yeah, because we've seen it. We've seen it, bro. I mean, they and listen, Dan Quinn. I know we talk about MCDC as far as the aggressive coach shit. Dan Quinn was going for it on fourth down too all game. I mean, and so it's not like he's not capable. But my favorite play in this game is going to be the under 55.5. I see that it's already starting to get juiced to the under. I took it Monday morning, so don't have to worry about too much juice. But my reason behind it is because I think both of these teams, for one, with Dan Quinn, you got to respect it that he is a defensive mind guy. So I think he's going to try to find ways to get this defense to play hard. And don't get it wrong, right? They got veterans, bro. They actually got a team full of a lot of veterans, but I don't know if Payne's playing. I don't think he's playing. And I saw something that did kind of trouble me. When you're Bobby Wagner and, you get ran over by Baker Mayfield. Don't get it wrong, though. Baker shook some linebackers this year. We've seen it. We've seen it. But, I mean, I ain't never seen him run over nobody like that. He ran his ass over. That kind of worries you about the run game. I don't know if Montgomery's going to be coming back or he's going to have limit play. If I'm the Lions, I'm letting him sit out for one more game. Because I think if you got Gibbs, bro, I think this game is over because for some reason I think they're going to run over him. I'm going to look at the Gibbs props. I'm probably going to look at the receiving yards, the rushing yards, because Gibbs is going to have the ball out. I think this game screams out Jahmyr Gibbs. Just hand the ball off. And the reason why I'm also going under because of that reason alone, but Aaron Glenn has had good coaching schemes as of lately, and I can see it being if it's a blowout. Honestly, if it is a blowout, I can see it being a 36, like a 36-13 game. And that would be like 49 points. If they do blow them out. But we know the Lions are capable of running the score up. We've seen it, bro. We've seen it. But in my eyes, I think it's gonna be like a real playoff type. It is a playoff game, but kind of like how they look at the Vikings. That's kind of how I think they would do. But you gotta contain Jalen Daniels, right? Because hell, even Daniels was having an issue trying to run out the pocket. So if they could contain that run game, Brian Robinson, he didn't do anything last week. I don't expect him to do anything this week. It's just that which one do you do? If you go all in on the pass, Lions, if you go all in on the pass, I think it's easy for you to stop the run. And I think the under goes just that way. And Gibbs going to tick, 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 tick with that ball. So I got my best bet, 55.5 under. But I do got Lions to win and cover this game. Next game, we got the LA Rams traveling to Philly to take on the Eagles. Eagles, 6.5 point favorites. I'm leaning towards taking the Rams 6.5 as the best bet. If it hits +7 towards like later in the week, I'm definitely taking the +7 with the Rams. Rams lose, however, because I got the Eagles to win. It's still I still believe in Russ with Philly, and Hurts has always been a little iffy this year as a passer, right? If I'm the Rams, I'm saying let's go all in on trying to stop Saquon. Is it going to be easy? Absolutely not. It's not going to be easy, but I'm thinking you go all in on them. Think about it. Think about the two guys I mentioned every week about the Rams. Think about it. Verse, Frisk. Look those two guys up. Those guys are going to be all pro players. I'm calling it now because I've been bragging about them all year when I picked the Rams, right? They're going to cause havoc. It's up to them to make sure they can kind of contain Saquon. It's going to be hard, right? Like, Saquon been having 100-yard rushing games for like the last, how many weeks. So, that's the thing about it. But I just look at Stafford. I've said it before, man. This guy's a warrior. He's bro. He's one of those people, bro. I don't think they're just gonna lose the game and lose the game. McVay's a good coach as well. So the only thing that scares me if we're gonna pick the Rams, the linebackers isn't the best. Their D line and their secondary is actually straight. It's the linebacker core where I have fits with because if the D line can't get to Saquon, I don't think the linebackers can get to Saquon. That's just how I look at it. But this game should be a good game though. I expect it to be close. I think over under. Last time I saw was 45 and a half. I kind of lean towards the under because I could see it being a. If the Rams cover, I could see it being a. Let me see. It was what 20 was it 22-10 Packers? The Packers game was 22-10. So I could see it being I kind of see it kind of similar to that. I could see it being a I could say if it's like a 20-16 type game, 23-16, well, that's kind of pushing it between 7 and 6. That's why I said I like it better if it hits 7, but I could see it being that scenario. Under 44 and a half. I don't see the Rams going all the way to even though I know that doesn't matter with McVay, but it's the fact that I know that it being colder over there and the weather the way it is, I know it's gonna be a little harder for the Rams, So just my thought. But Rams to cover, Eagles to win. And lastly, this is the game that made me wait a couple of days because I had to think about this game. I went back and forth a couple times. So we got the Baltimore Ravens versus the Buffalo Bills. You got Bills as +1.5 point underdogs. Like I said, I went back and forth, bro, and it was hard. At one point, I was saying Bills. At one point, I was saying Ravens. Then I went back to Bills. But now I made my decision, bro. I'm going with the Ravens to win and cover. Is it hard at playing at Buffalo? Absolutely. But I figure if it's one team who can beat Buffalo in different type of ways, it will be Baltimore. Zay Flowers will be back in this game. I don't see why he misses this game. He should miss this game. All right. Now, when you look at it, you're looking at Derrick Henry, who had a good year. He proved me wrong. I thought maybe it was gonna be one of those years where I thought he's damn near done. But he's not. We know about Lamar being MVP the way he is. We know about Josh Allen on the other side with the Buffalo. We know this, but I'm looking at who has the more dogs, and I think it's Baltimore. It has to be. It's just nothing else that I really see that makes me say, why should I pick Buffalo? Listen, I respect Josh Allen. I said he was MVP, but now that I'm thinking about it, this game just has to be Ravens. The over under is 51 and a half. I will lean under as well. And why I'm leaning under, there's a chance of being snow flurries or snow mixed flurries, 8-degree weather on Sunday night. I want you guys to be cautious of that. Pay attention to the weather in some of these games, other than Detroit. You know Detroit's going to be a dome, so don't worry about the weather with those games. But this game, I can see it if they run the ball. I mean, listen, right? We know Cook had a nice game against the Broncos, but I think it's a little bit more harder with the Ravens. Since they moved Kyle Hamilton back from, flirting with that, you know, flirting with the front seven, now he's kind of back to being the safety he is. That's why I don't see them getting a lot of like damage on him. You're relying on Keon Coleman, which I like, but you're relying on a rookie. You're relying on Amari Cooper, who's still trying to figure out the system still. Let's be honest. We know he is. But I'm looking at Harbaugh, the consistency, the discipline that I think this team will have in this game, man. I expect Derrick Henry to be the reason why Baltimore wins this game. It's either gonna be him or Lamar with the RPO actions. That's how you have to probably win this game against Buffalo, which their defense is very vulnerable. I mean, yeah, we saw Bo Nix throw a fucking dime that I don't think none of us ever expected, but he did it. So, you know, yeah. And you know what? The more I keep talking about it, I might as well fuck it. I'm making Baltimore a best bet. 1.5, one, whatever you got it at. I'm making it at. If you don't want to do the spread, some money lines is at -1, 118. Hell, when I first saw it, it was -108 as a pick'em. So not bad odds if you want to pick money line or if you want to pick spread, either or. I think you'll be a-okay. This wraps up the divisional picks and predictions. Yeah, hit the like button, man. Pass the word around, bro. We know the season's ending, but this is gonna be a bounce back week, bro. I'm not thinking about last week no more, bro, because we gotta keep on moving forward, bro. So as always, man, show love, man. We will have more content coming up. Like I said, follow the Instagram page, Pace and Place _ podcast. You'll see way more content than what you're seeing on YouTube right now. As always, guys, be safe out here and let's get this money.